Hey everybody, this is Stone Dude coming at you. Live, uncut, unprepared, and unworthy of your attention, no doubt. We're here to read you some stories off the internet, man. Let's get right into it. Let's see what people are talking about. Am I the a-hole for canceling my wife's vacation? Yes, you are. I cannot imagine any good reason for doing that. But as usual, I'm sure that there'll be a good reason, actually. But hard to imagine why in this circumstance. Let's see. I am from a developing country that was pretty dangerous when I was a kid, but has come a long way in the last 20 years. My wife has watched too many movies and TV shows that show my home country in the worst possible light. Are you from the United States? My family that still lives there all tend to be in professional fields and work in medical, legal, educational, or agricultural industries. For example, one of my cousins owns several companies that make products from sugarcane waste. He makes more money than I do. My grandmother and mom regularly travel back to visit family. It is safe enough for a middle-aged and an elderly woman to do travel arounding in. I go back all the time too. I like seeing family, but also everything there is so cheap, it is very cost effective for me to take long vacations there. After more than 5 years of dating and 10 years of marriage, my wife has finally agreed to visit with me. The plan was to go for a couple of weeks this summer. 1 week in my hometown visiting my family, and 1 week in a resort city that dozens of cruise ships stop at every day. Basically, it would be safer than San Francisco. But all she has been doing since she agreed is telling everyone how scared she is to go and how she's only going because I wore her down. I have been putting up with it for over a month. Last weekend, we had her uncle and her family from out of town over for dinner, and her folks joined us. She started going on about how scared she is. Her aunt mentioned that they had visited the resort city on one of their cruises. She had some pictures on her phone and was showing them off. My wife still wouldn't drop how dangerous it is there and how scared she is. Yesterday, I called my family and apologized for not being able to see them this year. I also canceled our reservation at the 5-star hotel we were going to stay at. Instead, I got us a very nice hotel in New York, and I got us some tickets for 2 shows on Broadway. Because of the price difference between the 2 vacations, we are only going for 1 week. I told her about it, and now she is pissed at me for canceling the hotel and just taking her to New York. Well, of course she is. But one thing, I do love how these stories will always just sweep my expectations to the side. I can understand why you would want to cancel the vacation, but I also don't understand why you wouldn't talk to your wife first. That's really crazy, man. She's been telling all the people at their school at the school where she works that she is so brave for going to a third world country. How she was basically going to be staying in a hut. We were going to be staying with my uncle. He has servants. The hotel was nicer than any place we have stayed since our honeymoon. I honestly thought I was doing the right thing. All she has done is complain and tell everyone how scared she is. I'm scared of heights. If she had gotten me skydiving lessons as a gift after I agreed to try it, I would not be surprised if she canceled them if all I did was complain to anyone who would listen. Edit. She told me every day for the last 2 months she didn't want to go. Should I have called her a liar? I just decided that she meant what she was telling me and everyone else, that she really did not want to go. I'm so confused. Not the a-hole. From the way you describe it, it sounds like one of the big cities you're going to is Cartagena, Colombia. I'm from Colombia and visit there all the time. The city is beautiful and has an amazing tourist reputation. Most of the big cities are safe as long as you avoid certain areas. The exact same as most cities in America. There are places in Baltimore, New Orleans, and Oakland that I won't go near. It's too bad she busted your balls so much you canceled your trip. Some of the hotels in the old city in Cartagena are amazing. Try again, though. It is a beautiful country and deserves to shed its reputation. She will love it. I'm not sure the issue is the safety of the country. I think the issue is the communication and also the wife's grandstanding about going to go stay in a hut and how proud she is of her bravery and also how terrified she is. It sounds like she's got some issues. Not the a-hole. Your wife is racist, plain and simple. That's what I was thinking, but I didn't dare say it. So thank you, Manic Dessert. You had my back there. Why are you married to someone who is so disrespectful of your home country? And I can only assume your culture. First of all, you're telling me that you've been together for 15 years and she's never come with you to visit your family? Second of all, It's honestly coming off as racist on her part. Interesting the country is dangerous Insisting the country is dangerous and seeing it as some caricature and dismissing your actual experiences. Saying she's brave for going to a third world country, yikes. On your part, you could have and should have communicated on a decision that impacts you both. You're not the bigger a-hole, but you have a bigger relationship problem than this trip. ESH. Yeah, I agree with that comment for sure. For sure. And I omitted the part that they've been together for 15 years. It's really odd that they never that this is just coming up now. That's crazy to me. Not the a-hole, but your wife genuinely sounds racist and xenophobic. Not sure why you married someone like that, but that's your business. Yeah, to each their own. Info. Why have you let all of this go on for so long without talking to her about it? This sounds like something that would have been easily solved with the conversation. Yeah, it sounds like you don't know your wife, but I guess many of us don't. There's always surprises around the corner, I guess. Am I the a-hole for cussing at a teacher when she gave my information to a reporter? This is another one. I saw the title and I was like, yeah, this is definitely just clearly there's never a good reason to cuss at a teacher. But let's see if I'm wrong about this one too. I'm one of the few but growing number of single men who foregone marriage and became a dad on my own. In my case, I used a surrogate 3 times, so I have 3 boys between the age of 5 and 10. Wow. It's blowing my mind. When they started school and started to make friends, I did tell a few parents because they wanted to know more about me before letting their kids spend time with my kids. Most were intrigued for a few minutes. That went away once they realized how normal we are. Man, I just the other day I was watching my baby and I was thinking, I have no idea what I would do without my wife. Like, how is this possible? How is it possible for any single parent to get through this? Man, respect for doing 3 baby boys. That's crazy. And kudos to you. They went away when they realized how normal we are. I'm neither an advocate nor opponent of single parent surrogacy. I did what worked for me. I also don't promote it the same way people promote their personal lives for clout. In fact, I haven't told anyone about it in years. That brings me to my son's 2nd grade teacher, Mrs. F. I got a random call from a reporter asking to interview me for a magazine piece on man resorting to surrogacy to have kids. I thought it was a joke, but he had all sorts of information, including the names of my kids and what I did for work. I asked how he got my information, and he said from Mrs. F., who is a friend of his. In fact, she gave him my number. I was pissed. The next day, I told Mrs. F about the call, and she said it would be so exciting to be in a magazine and online. I asked her, why the F did she put my personal life out there? That's a total betrayal. She said she didn't know I'd be that upset and simply thought that I'd be open to it. I told her that I didn't tell her my business, let alone give her permission to spread. She didn't say anything, so I called her a effing moron who needs to grow the F up. She probably thought I'd complain to the principal, but that's not my style. I will tell you stuff to your face. Now the VP principal is asking like an intermediary between us after she said I cussed her out. He did say that I was out of line, but she was even more way out of line. He asked me to be understanding because she's young and lives online. I told him that he's just mad that he actually has to do some work now, and the funny part is that I'm not even mad at her anymore. I don't like her, but it's not like she matters in a few months. Wow. Everyone is terrible once again. Let's see. Pine Bonsai. Not the a-hole. The VP needs to not be making excuses for her. What she did was disrespectful, rude, and unethical. You do not give out other people's personal info without the permission. If she wanted to give her friend a lead, she could have said, hey, I know a single dad who might be a good fit. Let me ask him if he'd like to talk to you. And that's it. Nothing about your contact info, life, and especially nothing about your children. Yeah, that's absolutely true. But I feel that this guy, something's wrong about this OP. He asked me to be understanding because she's young and lives online. You were understanding. You didn't report her to the principal in an attempt to get her fired. Instead, you reamed her like she deserved to be. Logical consequences. JFC NTA, JFC, Jesus effing. I don't know what that means. But I don't know. I think it's not cool to cuss people out, especially this teacher sounds like she's really young and immature. Yeah, she gave out your personal info, and that's terrible. But you know, don't cuss people out unless you're driving and they're in another car. Then it's totally okay. Not the a-hole. I'd report her to the school board. This is a serious violation of your privacy, and the vice principal doesn't seem to be taking it seriously. Well, you did give you did give the vice principal reason to, have an argument against you by, cussing her out like that. Not the a-hole. She probably thought I'd complain to the principal, but that's not my style. I will tell you stuff to your face. No, dude. There are times when you need to report people. Like when you find out a teacher is giving out private personal information about students and their families. That stuff needs to be reported and dealt with. The macho I will tell you to your face BS doesn't cut it. She deserved to be cussed out, but she also needs to be professionally reprimanded and put under a microscope to make sure this doesn't happen again. How about she deserves to be reprimanded and put under a microscope, but doesn't deserve to be cussed out, It's peace and love, Not the a-hole. Let's take you out of the picture for a second. This teacher revealed personal details about her students to a third party without the parents' permission or any sort of legal reason, like reporting abuse. This is a major violation of educational privacy, and the fact that the principal is covering for her rather than writing her up is only fanning the fire. Contact the district superintendent, and if that doesn't work, contact a lawyer. All right, well, that brings that to a close. Apparently, I'm the only one who doesn't think it's cool to, cuss at people, but hey, that's just me. Everyone out there, I wish you a great day. We'll catch you again for another edition of Story Dude.